customers coming in the store, you remain neutral about a whole lot of stuff. And don't air out your business and your thoughts and your feelings and your everything else. Because you do, you have people that decide not to put stuff with you no more.
Yep.
Doing great. Yeah, doing much better. Yeah, little miracle baby. No, she had when she was born, her jaw was set back too far. She was cutting her airway off. So they broke her jaw. Moved it forward, had pins in a couple months. And after that, she got a hole in the top of her mouth. And we had these feet on the special bottle. So they said they wanted to wait until she gets a year old. And it was supposed to be a simple operation to go in and fill in the top. But after surgery, her airway collapsed.
What do you reckon that was?
So they had to put a tube in her, and she had a tube in her for eight days. And that opened the hole back up. So they looked at it yesterday and said it was healing up, it was closing. It was healing. But she's doing better. She's in therapy now, so she's up and around. You know, hopefully she'll come home.
I always got
Talk about
something.
it today when she gets
It looked like activity want to pick back up over in Allen Drive. So I don't know. Right.
I can't
I
wait.
tell them you could do some extra patrolling out there.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And we don't want to get back like it was.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We'll keep check on it.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I don't. That made sense to me.
How do you let one division do and then you try to take away from another division? To me,
She
that-
dodging you.
He must be. I think I went down the back and came up front.
You ain't gonna do nothing for the customers.
Oh yeah, they're gonna slow down.
Response time to power outages. That's the only reason we do it. And there it is. Take away
I always like to play with them. I know. I was going to say, I love the time.
incentives that you give me when I get in a position. Figure out how you can pay me to be on call 24/7.
And then Sunday night, I played my
Yeah,
parents'
just
house.
keep it like it is.
Bedroom, and
I understand why. These are all the people
my mom, she's like, I can't see anymore, so
that don't even make common sense, let alone business sense. You know?
yeah, no, no more. Yeah, they might be there. Okay. Yeah. I want to go for the RP3 award.
Do what?
I want to try for the RP3 award.
I don't know that we're big enough to get that, are we?
We're going to try. We smalled up mine.
Thought you had to have over a certain amount of customers.
I don't know.
How many customers we have?
Around 5,000, give or take. That's electric.
We're future focused. We strengthen public power. We provide superior power. Customer service innovators. And people are the biggest.
two would have the biggest, they had the biggest opposition because Ray had the biggest problem with our school.
But now y'all get picked for it.
Yeah, but he was the reason why we did away with it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
nah, I don't
But then in the end, he voted to give it back because it was a fight to who voted. You know,
All 4 seasons.
We turned it off a while ago.
and I've done a little bit before he done.
Last night
But it was told that I wasn't gonna get that money because and I was gonna get in trouble. I said, hey, fine by me, I'm good with it.
So I opened up all the windows and crawled it.
Yeah, I hope
Just trying to let it air out.
hopefully he's let it go. He's the one that has the biggest like opposition to it. I don't know why.
Because he thinks somebody doing something, but that's all right.
Not in your department.
I know. How well I know that. But there again, sometimes everybody gets punished for
Oh yeah.
what a few do.
Yes, it's still live.
I don't have my glasses on. Does that see all the seats?
Oh, what?
Does it show all the people, all the seats?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I gotta leave my doctor's appointment that night. Just a normal to refill my medicines. That's what I'm doing. The first time I start dealing with it.
Yes, coach ain't coming.
They didn't have the other. They didn't have the treatment. Like I said, I just couldn't take it till I started dealing with it.
It just stopped dealing with me.
You see how quick they got that tree cleaned up? You see how quick they got that tree cleaned up? That y'all
I saw
dropped
this
that
one
one?
load this morning when I come to town.
Yes, ma'am.
They dig up the stump too.
I think so, because they got it.
morning, good morning, good morning. I want to call this meeting to order at this time. If you would, please, Mr. Clerk, roll call, if you would.
Good morning, Mayor Newborn.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lane.
Here.
Commissioner Newell. Brother. Commissioner Connor.
Here.
Commissioner Goff. And Commissioner Davis. I have no word on him, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Orm is absent.
Yes, sir. If you would, please. I'd like to welcome everyone. This is a little different meeting. We're gonna, well, let me preface it like this. Because of the concern that our citizens have, and because of the direction that our board has been going, we're getting ready to try to bring us closer together, weaving in those concerns and weaving in the things that we can do and some of the things that we didn't do. For those who don't know me, I believe in doing what is right. This board does as well. We are here as a board that, well, to simply say it, we're trying to do a perfect job, and we're imperfect. But we're here for you. Everyone up here on this board loves the town. There may be some things that have been said that shouldn't be said regarding our board, because some of our other boards, we vote to put these people on these boards. And some of them, well, put it to you this way, next time we need to be more, whatever the word is I'm searching for, about those, because we're trying to be a unit the best we can, and we can accomplish that. But it's just like in any relationship, give and take, marriage, courtship, whatever. It's give and take. We're up here on this board, we're not always right. There's no one up here that thinks that we are. But we're here to do a just job, and so that our town can be proud, and so that the generations coming behind us can be proud of us. My thing is, so, and we're always going to have the naysayers, but I welcome the naysayers to come out to our meetings to get firsthand information. And talking with mayors across Pitt County and across the state of North Carolina, they have some of the same problems we have. The only difference is there are people who don't do some of the things that those that naysay when it comes to us. And we're not mad at anybody or any of that crazy stuff. We're just here to trying to weave this thing together. Like I said, today is a little different. And we're going to go forward. We're going to move forward cautiously because we have so much involved. I believe in growth. I believe in smart growth. However, smart growth to me isn't smart growth unless it's balanced growth. Right now, everybody is looking at us, they're looking at us and want to come to our town, and certainly we don't want to discourage anybody. We don't have that spirit of discouragement within our board. So with that being said, there are some things that's going to be a little bit different because we call this meeting for us and you all. Well, basically, we knew that we had to get some things in order for the advancement of our town. And I asked during this session to be patient with us. No one up here on this board hates anybody in our town and none of that stuff. We're here to get the job done, okay? Thank you so much for listening to those words. Wasn't a bad speech, but I hope you take it to heart because we are up here to give our heart not just to you all, but to this entire town. Is there a minister, well, let me slow it down. Okay. For the public comment during a session as such, Mr. Manager, do you have something on that for this particular session?
Yeah, I could share. The general statute speaks to providing a public comment period. If we have one regular meeting a month, and we provide it then, we satisfy the general statute. So if the board decides not to allow any comments during a special meeting, it's not required by the general statute. This would be the decision of the board.
Regarding what Mr. Clerk just said, what's the pleasure of the board as far as the public comments? Yes, ma'am, Mrs. Connor.
I mean, that we not have a public comment, no disrespect, we are glad that everybody came, but we saw this as a working session, and if we allow public comment, the time would be, more, I know some of the commissioners have other scheduled things on their schedule that they have to go to, and we'll bring them back for discussion at a later time, that we're not forget.
So that being said, is a motion from Commissioner Connor. Can I get a second for that?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Newell. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye if you will. Okay, motion carries. Do we have a minister in the house? If not, I'm going to do the invocation. Is there a minister in the house?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Bishop Williams, if you would, please come forward, sir.
Father and our God, we come now in the humblest manner that we know how, thanking you for another day's journey. We thank you, God, for how we lied down last night and rose up this morning and are able to come to this meeting. God, we pray that you will continue to lead, guide, and protect us. Help us to do what is needed. God, to make this town, this world, a better place to live. We thank you now for what you're going to do and the way you're going to do it. Touch each and every one, the board, the cities, the citizens of Ayden, and all that are here in this meeting today. Help us to be able to move forward and resolve situations and problems that might be at hand. We thank you and we praise you now for what you're going to do and the way you're going to do it. In Jesus' name we do pray and we say, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Williams. At this time, we will do our pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to do all we can today to get some things done, but we're also going to respect everyone's time to the best of our ability. All right. The first item of discussion would be the development within the town of Ayden. Well, this is right there. Missed that one. Missed that imperfect person. Telling you about. At this time, I'm going to need an approval of the agenda. Motion. Yes, sir. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Langley. Need a second, please. Second by Commissioner Newell. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. First item for discussion that's what we had planned to do. This board, we weren't trying to pull the woolies over anyone's eyes and stuff. We're beyond that. We know that we're in a situation, and we know we need to take care of these things, and that's why we're here for you all and us. All right. So the first item for discussion is the development within the town. Now, there are certain things that if we were in another type setting, I probably could say or do, but I don't want to violate anyone's rights, particularly the way the spirit of this town is at this time. It's going to get better. So I'm going to open the floor up for any discussion regarding the town's development. Board, don't be shy. Now's a good time to discuss where we're going. As I said earlier, I do believe in growth, rapid growth. I believe that smart growth outweighs any of those adjectives for growth. Is anybody in the
I was
commission?
thinking, is my mic on?
Nothing I can-
And you, I was thinking,
It'll be red if it is.
not reading. Yes, it is. Since we're thinking about, well, we voted to create task force committee, the information that they bring back will have a weigh-in on the development, future development. So I was thinking, yeah, I see that. I see that's number C. I was just thinking what we do there will have a bearing on the development.
Okay. She's done.
And it's, so some discussion would be limited based on what we do there, that's what I.
Thanks for the clarity. Yes, sir.
So as you all know, we have some issues with drainage. We're having a lot of development. Ayden is growing faster than it's ever grown. I've been in this position for a year and probably 2 months. Even before I got elected or knew I would be elected, I've been working on drainage for this town. So me and this board, we've been working relentlessly to try to solve these issues, but they're not simple issues. These issues have been here for hundreds of years. So, and with the development, it meets a new challenge. And we're working on that. We're working with the right people we have to work with. We're working with different state and government institutes to do that. But you have to be patient with us. We cannot correct 70, 80 years of development that was uncontrolled in drainage. It's going to continue to change, and we have to be ahead of the change. That means new development, commercial development, and so on. So we ask for your patience. Believe me, this is not an easy job. We're in the middle of the staff, the residents, and so on, but we are working diligently to make this a better place. So please ask you for your patience and give us a little time to do what we need to do, because we're doing the best we can for the interest of the citizens of Ayden. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Newell. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Goff, if you would.
To piggyback on Commissioner Newell, I've been doing this for about 5 years. I've attended a lot of the planning board meetings and such, and he is correct. We've been working diligently to try to correct issues that at years past were legal. They were the way things were done. That was the best way to do things. Well, now, because of age and new development, we're having to re-look at other areas and go through and look at areas that back then were fine but are not now, or they're deteriorating now. So we're doing constant studies trying to find those areas and make those corrections. As far as development, we have to have wise consideration as to how development can be made for the betterment of our community and not for its detriment. And that's what we're really trying to do, is focus on where we can develop, how we can develop, and how it will make it better for the citizens that are already here, but also for the future of the town and future citizens. So that's one of the things that, we are very serious about and very concerned and focused on making sure that we do this right. I'm originally from an area that didn't do that. They didn't concentrate on how development would affect the area and the community. And it's just a hodgepodge of houses and business, and nothing really comes together. And we don't want that for Ayden. And so I just want to say that we are serious about this, and we have been diligently trying to find the proper solution. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Commissioner Goff. Mayor Pro Tem.
Everything that's been said so far is to me is right on target, and I think the Commissioner and the Mayor pointed these factors out. This board is reacting to decades of what I consider neglect on the infrastructure of the town. What that means is we have, our stormwater issues, we have our sewer issues, and right now, this board, because of the development we're having, we're seeing more of an inflow on our infrastructure for the stormwater runoff. And with our high bills on our sewer, a lot of that's based on our poor infrastructure. And what I mean is we have failing areas under the ground, under our town, that need to be fixed, and we're trying to concentrate on the areas that are the worst area, the worst things that need to be replaced, whether stormwater or sewer. And I think a lot of our problems that we're currently having is with our stormwater. And that's why our sewer bills are the way they are now. We're actually sending a lot of stormwater to our sewer plant to be treated. And we are concentrating, and we're relying on our experts to give us the advice on how we move forward based on what needs to be repaired first. And unfortunately, over the years, I would say we weren't pointed in the right directions. And that's the reason we're having some of those issues. We also rely on the experts from the county and the developers and engineers to make sure that the developers are doing exactly what they're supposed to do when they go in and build a development, that the land is supposed to we're not supposed to produce any more runoff than when we started. Before the development, it's not supposed to increase any runoff into the adjoining neighborhoods. It's supposed to be, the flow is supposed to go just like it was before. And that's the way development is supposed to be designed. Unfortunately, that's not the case. And we may see a development happening 3 miles away or 1.5 miles away, and all of a sudden you got flooding further down the road because of the way that development went in. But we rely on those experts. So when things don't work out the way it's supposed to do, I think in the future we're going to try to find a way to hold those people responsible because other people are affected by those developments. I don't think, and I think what's happening right now in our town is we're getting a lot of negative on development. Development, like the mayor mentioned, our smart growth. This town, I've been here 20 years, and my ancestors are from here, from Pitt County, in this area here. My great-grandparents, grandparents. So I'm a transplant, though. I visited here as a child, went all over the world for many, many years, and then came back here 20 years ago and have been here since. We saw hardly any development at all in the town of Ayden. Greenville has grown, Winterville has grown. Now development's coming this way and moving towards Griffin. So development is coming. And this board right now is trying to do everything we can to make sure that we can get control of this infrastructure we have going on right now, which is degrading and needs to be replaced. But we also have to have money to do those things. It's very expensive. So, but we've got to develop. If we don't, it's gonna go right by us, and then, we can't decrease costs if we don't develop and get more revenue. It's not all about the money, but the bottom line is your tax base keeps your town running, and the revenue you receive through other things, leases and so forth. But I will tell you that we really need your support on supporting this board and the town on these things that are going to come up later in the meeting, because we're going to discuss some other things. Thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I concur with everything that's been spoken up here up to this point. I don't believe in the so-called touch and go, bill me now system. I don't believe in that. And we're going to take a more strategic approach as we move forward, because it's already been said, and I guess you all can see that we're on one accord. And when we leave here today, my hope is that all of us on the same, because you all are a part of the team. It's a team thing here. Working together does work. I know somebody probably said, I know he's gonna say that. Well, I believe that. So we're a team here, and we're trying to get it right. Any other responses that you want to add on to that? Yeah, but that touch and go approach, like, go get it now. We have to be more strategic. All right. If not any further discussion on the development within the town, next up will be our customer service guidelines. I'll start it off with my opinion. My opinion is just, opinion of us all. The way we are going as a town, like Mayor Pro Tem just said, we want to grow. We understand the economics of this town. We're not going to give away the bank. So it's been said, we're not going to do that. Everyone that plays in, pays in their fair share. That's where it's going to be. As long as I'm sitting here. I just wish you guys knew how much we cared about this town. But anyway, we get a lot of complaints based on some recent changes that were voted on. Not making excuses for anyone. I'm imperfect. We're all up here on this board. And everyone can speak for themselves if they want to speak. But there has been, in my opinion, even though we have tabled some things, there has been some things passed, in my humble opinion, that should not have been passed. Because it's a poor reflection on us if someone were to tie our votes in, which I can only vote in the event of a tie. If someone were to tie our votes in with what's been given to our citizens, I tell you, I get it right during the week. Now, I don't know about management. They're here 5 days a week. I get it. Some of the other commissioners, we buzz each other up. They get it too. I get it on Saturday. I get it on Sunday. Since I've been on this board, and I was Mayor Pro Tem or Vice Mayor for 8 years, never have I seen the climate in this town the way it is now. People are outraged. I can't demand for the board to vote whatever way they decide to vote. I can only try to persuade based on my experiences on this board and my life experiences and my experiences on a day-to-day basis with our citizens. I don't say things that I don't mean, and the things I say I do mean. I'm ashamed of the way, not that our citizens have responded. So much, but I'm ashamed because people are hurt here. We're not a rich town. We're not a poor town. But we're trying to get up on our feet. And I know what struggle is. I'm the product of a family that only had a mother. I had a father that was married, but he took off 1 week before my second birthday. So I know what it is to struggle. And I can assure you, people in every ward in this town, I don't care where you are, have been struggling. And honestly, I'm hurt, like I said. Miracle that I don't get a break. It's Saturday, Sunday. And now it's kind of like filtering down to my wife. What your husband gonna do about this? What the boy gonna do about that? Can I talk to you for a moment? Such and such and such. We can do better. So, make a long story short. And I didn't say that because my wife is, I love her to death, but she's no better than anyone else's wife. If you all in the audience were going through what I go through and us up here on this board, y'all don't get it like we do. Management, like I said, maybe 5 days a week, Sarah, but us, Stephen, us, we get it every day. I know I do. And I'm tired of it. Why? Because it doesn't have to be that way. Do I feel that we did the right thing with the new utility policy? No, I don't. Are there some good things tucked in? Yes, there are. Are there some bad things? Yes, there are. And those are the things that we need to revisit. Not just for our citizens, but for the sake of our town. We want our town to be lifted up instead of cast down. And where we're going with this stuff, particularly this utility forum piece, we got to get it right. We have to get it right. We were put here, voted in to get it right. For right now, and I don't want to talk too much, but I do want you to know that when the policy was brought to us, myself being the veteran on this board, I was against it. And I still am. People call it the highlight bill. Well, I call it the utility bill. And most people that I know of, they look at the utility bill and immediately put it on the electrical part. And it's deeper than that. We have 2 past due dates. I'm opposed to that. I can work along with anyone, anywhere in this United States. We got to do more for our citizens. That means we have to be more citizen friendly. Like I told you guys, I get it 7 days a week. What happens when people go downstairs to customer service? And actually, I like the people in customer service. I like everybody. I believe in treating everybody like I want to be treated. But a lot of the things that's coming out from this small town of Ayden, those of us up here on this board, and some of you all should be embarrassed by it, and I want us to get it right. It's all about doing what is right. Nobody's perfect, but still it's about doing what is right. Any comments from anyone on the board? Commissioner Newell.
Kind of follow up on what the mayor said. We're going to go completely through this policy and go over the policy and do what's right by the citizens. There's too many fees for services, for disconnect for services, the services is not being connected. It just goes on and on and on. We're going to simplify that and make it better for the citizen, and that's why I'm at on that. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Anyone else?
So we're still talking about the customer service guidelines?
Yes, sir.
Could I ask, Ms. Marshall a couple of questions? Ms. Marshall?
Yes, sir.
In our last governing board meeting, I asked you a question, and I don't know if I got a response. Where did the deposits, the numbers come from? The amounts? The deposit amounts for residential and commercial?
Yes, sir. I did not respond to you because I was waiting on the Office of the North Carolina Treasury to respond to me. We sent them our customer service guidelines. They feel that it is a perfect example. They didn't use the word perfect, but they said that it is a great, Scott and Lucia and I worked with that office, through the guidelines. It is based off the best utility management practice training that Ms. Connor, Ms. Goff, Ivy Newborn, y'all all attended through the Division of Water and Infrastructure. And so there is a formula that the state uses for distressed systems. And when he looked through what we were charging for deposit, he felt like, in actuality, he actually said that the deposit could be charged more because the town operates in arrears. So by the time a citizen receives their bill, the utility bill, it's already been consumed. And then they get another 20+ days to pay the bill, not quite 60 days. So the town is responsible for that 60 days if someone leaves you with a deposit. So the $450 was increased when you increased the water and sewer rates back in 2022 when the state mandated, from what I understand. The base rate, so it went from $175 prior to 2023 to $450 to cover 1 month of the average utility bill. So that's how we got to $450.
So are we the only municipal in the area that operates this way? In like,
With deposit?
in the rears, like you said, I mean,
No,
you have to,
most
are we the only municipal?
No, most, because in GUC, I get the bill after I consumed it. Because it's based, because you're already 30 days and then you get the pay period to pay it back. So you already have not quite 60 days from what you've used. So every electric company, I believe, is
Well,
similar.
that was my assumption. That's why I was, you said that the way we operate, so we don't operate any differently than, say, Winterville, you know, and Greenville and Griffin. It's always in the rears. You have to consume the power before you pay for the power. So we're not the only one. So,
We're structured very similar to other utility companies with the way our billing is set up, and they agreed with that as well when we spoke with them yesterday.
and I know the board did, back in December, approve the current things, but I checked, because we're always comparing ourselves to our local municipals and cities like Greenville, and we can't compare with some, you know, it's like apples and oranges in some ways, but in utilities, it should not be apples and oranges, it should be oranges and oranges, because it's utilities, and whether it depends on the amenity, whether there's, you know, garbage, water, sewer, and electric, so on and so forth. But at the review of the 3 municipals in our surrounding areas, Greenville, Winterville, and Grifton, the most deposit I see on residential, the highest, was $300 per month. That was the highest. And that was, breaking it down. And we've actually taken out of our agenda, on our guidelines, something that's been in place, I know, for probably, I mean, not in Ayden, I'm just talking about, it wasn't Ayden, but for years across this great United States. And that was called, if you have fair credit, a good credit, or a previous billing history from a previous utility, and you're in good standing, you did not have to pay a deposit. We have taken that away. We are saying $450, it is what it is. And I think this board is going to make some changes on that, and part of it. And also, if you look at some of the other municipals in our surrounding areas, the cost of the corporate side were extremely high as well. So we're going to take a look at those, and I would say, hopefully, based on what we get done today, that we can get the information to you and the administrative side, and we can have this brought back to our next meeting and get control, I call, of the situation. And also some factors that have been brought up recently. And I think my biggest thing when it comes to, we can't afford to lose money, and I understand that. The town of Ayden is like a business, but there are risks involved in every business. We also have issues such as that we need to put in their situation where if a husband and wife been living in Ayden for 50 years, and you know the old days of the male in the home putting everything in his name, and then suddenly something happens to him, and the wife she's providing income as well, but suddenly when he passes, our policy says if he passes, she must now put up a deposit. And that's a situation which I found ironic. What? I just really found like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe that. But if we need to go through our customer service guidelines and adjust these special circumstances, then that's what we need to do. But, and there are variables involved, for instance, a divorce, a bad divorce or something, the husband's in his name, of course, then, that'd be a different situation. But a deceased spouse, I found that very troubling. So
I struggle with that as well. The School of Government, they encourage us to stay out of relationships. I can't talk about client accounts, but with the deceased situation, there comes into play with the banking. So there's a lot of different attributes to that. There is a School of Government utility training coming up with utility billing. I can forward you that through Karen Monzi. She's great.
Well, I understand all these. I really, truly do.
Okay.
I do. But there's things that I learned a long time ago. It's called exception to policy. Exception to policy.
Okay.
And I use this terminology a lot, and people get mad at me. But I'm sorry, it's just me. Common sense plays a big factor in this. If everything is my name is coming out of the same account, and I die, now my wife is going to be burdened with additional cost because of my death when she was part of paying the bills anyway too. So, but everything I've ever done in my life, there's always been exception to policy on issues. So we have to look at things, not just it's written right here. I'm sorry, you got to pay. We're going to turn your stuff off.
If you change the policy, we'll enforce it.
Pardon me?
I said, if you change the policy, we'll enforce it.
Oh, I understand that. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. But I'm just wondering, are we going to have to put these things in the customer service guidelines verbatim?
Absolutely.
Okay, okay. So we need to make sure we cover everything.
Yes.
Okay.
I will send you out these training dates too for utility management. Elected officials, they encourage it. It's through the LGC. They've got one coming up on the 25th and 26th. So that will let you see some of the why. There's a lot of why to a lot of those, and that will cover a lot of those.
Okay. And did we in December, under the customer service guidelines, did we approve requiring payment from a resident on a damaged garbage can?
I would have to just,
No, it's been there.
that's
It's been
been
there
the-
before.
That's
long,
been in
long
there
time.
for years. You wanna, I don't know.
Well, as far as the garbage policy, how it's written, if they destroy the garbage can, like if their kid gets a new machete and he chops up the top, yeah, they're responsible. The normal wear and tear, we do replace the car.
Is that in the guidelines? Does it say a machete tore up the trash can?
That's just an example, of course, but, I mean, you see my point, is that
Okay.
reasonable?
Yes, sir. What I'm getting at is, do we have it? Because who determines, I mean, for instance, is there a wear and tear based on time? Or, because see, I'm gonna give you a good example. My trash can that I have, I've only had now, I got a new trash can because the lid got, I guess from dumping it up and down, the lid came off. So I got a new trash can probably about 2 or 3 years ago. But now I'm noticing my trash can, the way it goes in it, around the edge is starting to, like, start to mess up. So who determines that wear and tear? Is it based on age or how?
I'm on the first Stephen, I'm like,
No, 99% of instances, we replace those cans free of charge. Say you back over your trash can. Clearly, you can tell that kind of damage is caused by the homeowner not wearing.
And that would be their insurance pay to do that.
Or that would be, if they wanted to replace that can, they would come and pay for it 99% of the time. We'll get hey, my trash can is broken, we'll go out there and look. You're right, wear and tear is constant, it happens, the sides wear out. Those things, we don't charge for those things.
And that makes great sense, and I agree with you 1,000%. My question would be, why is our administrative staff telling customers they have to pay $87 for a new can when it was wear and tear? It came out of the department downstairs, is why I'm asking.
okay.
Let me and you said what you said, Mayor Pro Tem. We got a call yesterday.
Okay.
Lady's upset, one of ours, lady was upset because, she's a business lady. Someone moved, and now she has to buy, I'm speaking what I was told, a new trash can.
Could this be a downtown business?
Yes, ma'am, indeed.
That sweet lady came and apologized to us today.
Today?
There's a whole story to that, yes, sir.
Let me say what she said to me yesterday. And what she said, I didn't know that she was, but she did well. When she said what she said yesterday, she did say that she wasn't going to worry about the way that she's being treated, she was going to let it go. And she told me that she was a little warm about it. I get that all the time, particularly from people that come here. Not saying that they're right to be a little infuriated, but yeah, I get that a lot and I'm tired of it.
Well, I'll be honest with you, our staff wanted to quit. We've had to install panic buttons and we've had to ask for police presence in town hall. So we feel like our staff is under attack, and I don't know, and I'm just relaying this to you. Some of our staff do not feel like they can even eat in restaurants here because they're worried about retaliation. I'm just sharing with you this. So
Go ahead.
I wanted to share this with you because we cannot respond to social media. We cannot act but into a professional setting, a professional way. And there's a lot of backstory with a lot of the situations that get to you that we cannot share unless we are asked directly. And we can't share account information with anyone but the account holder. So I just wanted to share that with staff.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yes,
but, by the same token, when we, particularly, I don't know about the others, talking about newborn now, man, newborn.
Okay.
When people constantly come to me with the same type of treatment, they're saying they're receiving the same thing. And I heard the other week that APD had to be called in and all of this, and then I found out upon further. Let me say this to the audience, first of all. I've been a commissioner for a while. Generally, when people come to me, they tell me what they want me to know. Okay? I'm just being honest and certain. There's always, and I always ask them, but there's always the possibility of them not telling me everything I need to know. Therefore, I ask them, are you telling me everything I need to know? Among other things, why didn't you go down customer service? Why didn't you call your commissioner first or talk to the manager? We have an open door policy. But when you keep getting the same thing coming from diverse people across our 5 wards about how they have been treated, draws concern for me. We don't like to be embarrassed up here on this board. No no more so than anyone out there. We getting that too much. Moving forward, we have to do better. We're all human. We bleed the same blood. We should personally be more citizen friendly and business friendly than what we have in the past. For those who don't know, the citizens voted for each one of us up here on this board. From Commissioner Newell, Commissioner Khan, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioner Goff, Commissioner Davis, to take care of them, to be a voice for them. And that's what we're going to do. They voted, well, let me say this, it might help some of you all. You can go to our website and see our charter if you really want to know how things really go in this town. And that's going to help a lot of you all. Because if you don't, you're basically assuming what this town did, and we're a little different. So go there, so moving forward, that would help out. But I'm always bothered when people on a regular basis come to me and talk about how they have been treated. And I also know that people come with game to you guys. I'm totally aware of it. They have something that they could give me for me to read. They won't give it to me, but they'll tell me. And in a lot of cases, when it gets down to the real nitty-gritty, they are wrong. I'm not saying that they're always right. But what bothers me when those who are right, it irks me to my core. So I'm asking you all, everyone under the sound of my voice in the audience and on the board and management, let's all do better. We can do better. It's give and take, like I said earlier. Let me ask you this, Ms. Hall, because I was listening to Mayor Pro Tem, and it kind of prompted this. When you desire to bring issues to our board, have them placed on our agenda, is it you that have the final say-so over those items, what we're going to vote on, or is it processed through the assistant manager, or whomever? How does that work? Let the audience know how that works.
You would have to give me some examples. Some things are annual, some things are suggested, some things are required, some things are just informational. It can be a gamut of different things.
So, what's causing the stir in our town, to simplify things, are those the things that you put on the board? Did they get passed by management, or, on the agenda? Did they get passed by management? Because it's causing such a stir in our town, and I'm determined to find out where did this all start from. Is it your ideas? Is it management ideas together, or is it something all of you all agreed on collectively?
So what ideas are you?
I think I understand your question. If you would like to.
Yes, sir. If you would.
He's saying, like, for example, when you put something to get voted on. Obviously, like you said, some stuff you have to do every year. You have to vote for this, that. I think he's talking about stuff like the deposit policy and things like that.
Yeah, are those, is that totally you? Is it, that's all I'm asking.
I want to make sure, because there's something.
No, I made it clear.
Yeah, there's
if
something.
you listen, I made it clear to you, what I was asking.
But I also asked for examples if there was something in particular.
Well, I'm giving you an example.
Okay, so you're asking about customer service.
Correct.
Okay, so a lot of those changes came about for attending trainings, working with public works staff, seeing things that come up that cost the town money. For example, we had a rash of stolen credit cards.
Okay.
So that was something that we incorporated into the customer service guideline, that there is a higher cost to customers, that situation. So as we are actually fully staffed now, for whatever year, things are able to actually say, hey, what is happening in right now we're doing it with budget season. So there's things that we try to figure out, hey, what is happening here, and discussing a dialogue across all departments on what things are happening. So, any particular example could be something, for example, we mentioned Lucia with debt set-off. You know, I told you all about the loss of $4,000 last year from debt set-off. We realized that some of the, you know, in the past, that social security numbers were not required setting up accounts. So that is why we get burned, and then we bring things to you all to incorporate in the policy that, hey, this is the trend that we're seeing. It is costing us situations. So that's one example, but some things are straight up required by LGC or.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just wanted to be clear, because there's a lot of.
You're clear. I'm not so sure that I am, but you're clear.
Okay, but if there's an example, like, maybe next month, there'll be something that we're gonna propose to you all as a pilot program through Electric Cities, and that is just something that we were working towards on the back end. It was the next logical step. So we'll bring you that, and whether you approve that or not.
Okay.
So,
Back, excuse me.
there's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts.
It is, and I agree there's a lot of moving parts, but back to my original question.
Okay?
Do you have the final say-so?
No, you do.
No. You're not letting me finish again. You're disrespecting me again.
No,
but it's okay.
No. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's not, you wanna go there, we'll go there.
Okay,
But let me say this is not the time for us to be cute,
I'm not.
because
Okay.
our citizens are being affected by this. I don't think that you're getting there. So therefore I ask you what I ask you is all. The things that have the town in an uproar right now, was that your decision to bring that to the board? Did you have to get it passed by, again, the assistant manager, the manager, staff, or whom?
Are you referring to the utility deposit and the
No,
customer
ma'am.
guideline?
No, ma'am. You're not. No, ma'am.
Okay,
No, ma'am. With all due respect now.
okay,
And every time you come up, almost, I have to keep, and that's not a good thing.
Okay,
That's the only thing I'm just asking for, a straight answer. That's all I'm asking.
it's not a straight answer though.
It is a straight answer. I disagree with you. Because if you're creating these policies, whomever create them, whether it's assistant manager, whomever, someone who approves those policies, who approved ED, past tense, who approved those policies that you brought to this board that got passed in December. That's what I'm asking you.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. That's all I want to know.
It was all suggestions, and they're all legally tied to things that.
I get the legal aspect,
Okay.
Mrs. Hall.
It didn't go through an approval process.
So in other words, wait a minute, if you would.
Okay,
So do you have the right to whatever you feel is right to bring to us? Do you approve that? Does the manager, system manager, or whom? It's important.
it's collective through departments, and then it's uploaded through civic clerk for you all to.
Who has the final approval?
You
Ms.
do.
Law? No, ma'am. I'm not talking about voting. Don't do that to me.
I
Please
don't approve
do that.
anything but timesheet.
So who approves it, Ms.
You
Hall?
do.
No, ma'am. Stop. Don't. You keep doing the same thing, Ms. Hall. I'm asking
I
you
need help.
a question. I'm just asking you a question.
And I'm giving you the answer.
No, you're not.
Would y'all like me to jump in? I
You
think I
can.
see what both sides are saying.
Please stop.
He is saying like on stuff that has caused some complaints, like the utility deposit.
Okay.
Do you just put it on there and approve it or whatever? And the answer is like, you saw where we were bleeding money in deposits, people moving out in arrears up to 2 months, however long. And the mayor's saying, you know, who decides that or what process for it to make the agenda? Well, you know, obviously your job is to try to make this an efficient place as it can be. So, like that example, I'm sure you talked to me, and I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, it's multi-department stuff. But yeah, we obviously put it on the agenda, and I'll take the responsibility for putting it on the agenda. I mean, Jeremy mechanically puts it on there, but you know, I decide what goes on there, and then as every item, you know, the staff, you know, will put something up for discussion, and, most of the time they'll say, staff recommends this, or staff recommends that. But obviously, you know, it comes to the board, and the board votes, and it's the simplest explanation. If you really want to boil jobs down, it's staff, the board, creates policy and we implement it. And, so yeah, that made the agenda because it was definitely worth considering, because we were losing quite a bit of money. And so then it's ultimately, you know, y'all's decision whether to pass it, tweak it, totally reject it, totally accept it. So I think that's the answer. Is that what we want here?
That's very good.
May I say something?
Well, let me finish that. That's very good, Mr. Magic. And basically, that's all I was asking. I don't know why, you know, but anyway, we're imperfect, and I'm quite sure you and some of the others are. But it's important to us in moving forward as a town, because responsibility has to fall on someone. And I want to know, as mayor of this town, who's responsible for this chaos that we have encountered, that we continue to encounter on a daily basis. The manager made it clear. So I'm good with that now. And I'm sorry that if I caused you to struggle a little bit, I'm sorry. I was trying to communicate as efficiently and effectively.
Well, I apologize, because I have to drill down in the details, so other than payroll and purchase orders, I do not approve.
I want the board to be on
I take that
the
very
same
seriously.
page.
My approval of things, I take it very seriously.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem, if you would.
Thank you, Town Manager, for clearing that up. I think the whole point Mayor, of course, is trying to make is for the customer's guidelines created through your staff, through communications with other departments, and then go to the Town Manager for his approval to be presented to the board. Because we're under the understanding in this board that information that comes from the departments go through our town manager, who then makes a decision after he looks at it, or she, in whatever case the town manager is, and then looks at it and says, yes, this is good, and then he gives it to Jeremy, and it comes on our agenda. He is our town manager. He's our final approval for everything that comes from the departments, not the departments. The departments must, I was under the impression as a board member that all the department information is sent by the department heads to the town manager. The town manager looks at it, approves it, sends it over to the clerk, and because he is recommending it go on the agenda, and it looks good the way it is. I think that's what the question, the bottom line is, and as a board member, I was under the assumption, because it has been that way in the past, that everything comes from the departments through, you know, collaboration in all the departments, and then it comes from the department head to the town manager. Nothing comes from a department head directly to the board or directly to Jeremy, because he is the guy that we depend on, or lady, depending on the town manager, to bring us the information, and we know that it's had all the checks and balances. That's what I think the board is assuming is happening. Is that the case?
That is the case.
Okay, thank you.
That prints out 300 pages of that agenda, and usually majority of everything's already been discussed before it hits civic clerk. But when we recommend something to Scott, we've gone through DWI, UNC School of Government, LGC. I mean, we're not making things up on a whim. We take our problems to the state agencies to say, hey, this is what's happening, and they'll say, this is what's happening over here, this is what we recommend. So it's not
Well,
just
it's
saying,
the state, other than state statute, the law, other than law, there are guidelines. These are recommendations. So you have to pick, I'm not talking about everything. I know there's law, okay, but what I'm saying is, a lot of things that come up are situational. So, and it's not a perfect fit for every county and every municipal in the state. It's not a perfect fit. And I see that a lot in some of the training I've gone through, where when we do studies, it's based on, I mean, a study that may work for Greenville may not work for Ayden when you look at call studies for, say, wages. You know, when you have a higher revenue, you can pay more. If you don't have the revenue, you can put yourself out of business by trying to compete. So that's all. The bottom line was exactly what you just stated does happen. That the department heads, everything goes through our town manager for his approval and then over to Jeremy. And that was the question, and I appreciate it.
I just wanted to know because there's a reputation in this town now about certain people who work for us that they are the new certain people that's no longer here with us, and it doesn't look good. So I wanted to hear from you. I wanted the audience to hear from you so that they will know. Mayor Pro Tem and I, everyone up here knows how this works, but it's been said that you're the one that's pushing the envelope. You're the one that makes the decision, and I wanted to hear it from you,
Oh, no.
whether you were or were not. I'm just trying to.
No, I guess,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of things that we've got to clean up that Ayden has not, had. I'm assuming since there's been so much staff turnover through the years that, you know, we're just doing our best to enforce the policy, stop the bleed. We've been working on code enforcement. I'm gonna report that back to you next month. Been working with Mr. Caraway on the best practices on what we can do moving forward. I'm hoping he can, share some more next month about that, but we're doing our best to clean up a lot of things, and just move Ayden forward, and it's uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, I'm not in people's homes. I can't tell what they're setting their thermostat on. And truthfully, you know, we've had some of the coldest winters, in 10 years. So, I think last Monday night, we were everybody's nerves were tore up, but a lot of people didn't talk about the weather. And what we've tried to tell people, you know, the standard set it and forget it didn't work for the past 2 months because it was so cold. And when that happens, you've got your auxiliary heat kicks in. So there's just a lot of moving parts to Ayden, and we're trying to do our best.
I do understand, Mrs. Halls, and I thank you for your comments. Let me say this to you before you leave. Does anyone else have anything for? Okay, hold on 1 second. Commissioner Crawford, if you would please. Let me say this, and you probably know this. I'm probably preaching to the choir. Our team up here, we put so much trust in the numbers that you bring us, for those numbers to be accurate, for them to jail where they're supposed to, and all of that. We understand that you're only one person, but I think you have an assistant that can help you on certain things. No assistant?
Oh, no, I don't have it. I would love one. I'll put that in the budget if y'all willing to, approve it. No, we should just be a senior accountant, but, you know, we dissolved the position when one of our past employees, so we've taken on more job duties.
Let me tell you this, in a better way, if I may. The ones of us that vote regularly, they hinge upon your words, Ms. Hall, and your information. When your words and your information don't come together like it's supposed to, it makes a bitter taste. And those of us, yes ma'am, hold up, let me finish.
Okay.
Those of us who are up here, we know that you're not perfect. It's like we're not perfect. But we comb through stuff, and we're at the point now, based on the citizens' input, in addition to what we've seen visually, where we're gonna have to look at things a little bit differently when they come from you. And I'm honest with you, I'm not talking behind your back, I'm telling you where we are with that.
Okay. I haven't misled.
Wait a minute. Commissioner Goff, if you would. You have the floor.
Thank you. Worship, thank you for all that you and your staff do. You are appreciated. One thing with the development of the customer service guidelines, I know in any developing of services, you know, there can be additional adjustments needed. So, you know, usually when we put these in place, they look good on paper.
Right.
Until they become, you know, difficulties for our citizens. So now it's time for us to relook at that, restructure that, because it looked good when we first implemented it.
Correct.
And now we're finding that our decisions aren't quite equal to what our drawing board. But we're also aware that we've been on the LGC's watch list. And that being that we also have to be very careful how we structure our expenses based on our revenue. And so we're in that catch-22 as well. And I think it's good for our citizens to know this, that there are a lot of moving parts, like you say. And so in order to stop the bleed, where are we going to stop it? Because we can't cauterize one area and completely shut it off if we don't have another avenue to proceed. So I just wanted to kind of make that clarification, not only to just you and your staff, but also to the people who are here and those who may be watching it, that we're totally aware that the decisions we make have a great effect on our citizens, but also it also affects the town and how we move forward and how we look toward the LGC and the North Carolina League. So we have a lot of things to consider based on the customer service guidelines that we have, and also when we do our budget. So thanks for your time.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Commissioner Goff. Anyone else want to weigh in on anything?
I just want one thing.
Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
I do want to thank you guys. I got on my part, because I was a little under the weather, I got the updated customer service guidelines, and I see you did make 2 changes. The number 1 was the passing of the spouse and the grandfather clause on the deposits. That's been updated, correct?
It was tabled last.
I see it in there. I'm looking at customer service guidelines.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking on page 10 and page 11, where it states waiving a residential customer service utility deposit should a primary Ayden utility customer pass and their partner spouse who is listed as a secondary request to become the primary on the account. The partner spouse may do so without posting a deposit, provided that the account has not incurred any late penalties and so on and so forth. On that, it says if they were listed. Now, I guess my question was, a gentleman's first, last name, his wife was not on it. Does that play in the same role as that?
I'm in clarification on what you're looking at. I'm sorry.
I think you're viewing the draft. Sir, I think you're viewing the draft.
Okay.
And that's
Put up last time. That was an option we created for y'all, if y'all wanted to incorporate that in and vote on it.
Okay, so we need
It
to.
got tabled, yeah.
Okay, so this is the current draft, though, right? This is the current.
It's that most recent draft that we done.
Oh, no, I know it's not the actual guideline.
When you said
This is
that-
a draft. I'm so sorry. This is the current thing the board is looking at. Okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Are there any additional comments? Commissioner Newell, Commissioner Connor, Commissioner Davis, Commissioner Goff? Yes, sir.
I think the biggest disconnect is, we're not a multi-million-dollar corporation, we're a small town. And I believe Electric City says it's community working together, residents working with residents. And I understand you have to charge fees, we have to get to a certain level, we have deposits and all that, but we have to then in fact look after our citizens, we have to look after the town as well. But I believe we just have too many fees, and I feel like we're hammering the citizens every way they turn around. Disconnects, connects, rental property, all of this. There's got to be a better way to bring this together, what benefits the citizens, we look after the citizen, but we're in guidelines of what the town needs to do financially. That's not gonna be an easy task, but I'm hoping that's the way we're gonna go forward, because there's no need for any of this. And as the mayor says, I know your staff hears it, you hear it from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. I get some Sunday, 11:30, Saturday night, 9 o'clock at night on the way to work. I get questioned when I go out to eat, so I completely understand. I get anywhere I go. If I'm at the beach, I'm in Greenville, I'm asked about Ayden. No problem, I'm glad to talk about it. So your staff and the staff of Ayden is not the only one that's coming under fire. It's us, and it stops with us. We were elected to make the decisions in the best interest of the town of Ayden, and the department heads need to do that as well. We don't know everything, we count on you, and there needs to be more communication to do what we need to do right. Because at the end of the day, it's a community, it's a town, that's what towns were developed for. This neighbor having that neighbor, because we come together, we put our money together for safety and fees, police department, sanitation, water and sewer. So we got to figure this thing out, because if not, it's gonna hurt the growth of our town, and we gotta do better on all parts, the board's part and the staff's part. But please, citizens assure you, we get hammered up here, everywhere we go, so you're not the only one. So the staff needs to bring us stuff that we can vote on, and do your due diligence to guide us in the best way we can, plus our research to do what's in the best interest of the citizens of Ayden. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. And that's the last thing I have to say.
Thank you, Commissioner Dewar. Would there be anyone else on the end? Y'all good? Everybody good? Okay, thank you.
Can I say one thing? Just to end, I just wanna make sure you all know I have never intentionally misled this board or anyone else in this room. I'd like that to be on the record and the minutes, because I don't play that way, and as a finance officer, my integrity means everything to me, and I don't like it being implied.
Meaning,
I don't like the comment that you made.
what comment was that, ma'am?
We can replay it, but I have never.
Wait a minute, whoa, I said what now?
I have never intentionally misled.
No,
this
no,
board.
what comment did I make
That I intentionally misled this board.
I said that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did anybody hear me say that? Beg pardon?
You are kind of rude.
But I'm asking the question. I had the citizens, ma'am,
It sounded like you were pointing the finger at her instead of.
I was bringing
to
information.
all, everyone.
No, I wanted to know. Listen, I have a right to know.
She has a boss, who's her boss?
This is Mr. Howard.
You just let her get murdered.
No, it wasn't.
No more. No more. Now, folks, no more.
Ms. Hall, with all due respect to you, if you felt that way, it wasn't intended that way. I'm a filter for our citizens. I hear things you don't hear. The people who elected me hold me accountable. And just like the rest of them, we are held accountable. And so, something I don't really know, I have a right to ask. Why come? Because my citizens wants me to find out what is really going on. They know what they hear, and I had a right to ask you. Never mean to, that's not even in my character, because I'm imperfect. Wouldn't do that. I don't know what you might be looking for, but I didn't say the words that you said. If it did, it would be reflected in the record.
Okay.
And I will stand behind it. I have to ask you things. I'm not the sit down and shut up nigger. I'm not him. I love this town. Born and raised here. And when the citizens of this town keep banging us for information, not only I, but all of us have a right to ask. If it was someone else up here, Stephen or whomever, the chief of man, whomever, we have a right. You got to understand that. We're indebted to the citizens of this town. And that's what I did. I brought their concerns directly to you. And I'm not ashamed of doing that. I don't have a problem with you. I don't have a problem with Lucille. As a matter of fact, Lucille and I had a great discussion the other week. Found out some things. I've learned some things from you. But they are the ones that elect us. For those who don't know how it goes, we have the citizens at the top of the organizational chart. We have us right here. Charter says that I'm the official head of the governing board. That was before I was elected. Then we have management and everyone else underneath, for those who don't know. When our bosses get on our backs and question us, we have to respond to them. Is anyone disagree? We have to respond to them. That's all we were doing. I'm not perfect. I always tell you that. You're not perfect, but I had to ask you and try to be clear because, and I appreciate what the manager did, I was trying to be clear to get it from you. And so I wouldn't have to go back and tell them, well, Commissioner such and such said, or the manager said. I wanted to get it from you because that's who, that's, you know, your name is out there, you know. And I can't help that. And I thank you for trying to clear up some things. But we have a right. I have a right. I'm not doing anything I have a right. Didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Never mean to hurt anyone's feelings. But my citizens, I respect them. Because they respected us enough to put us in this office to speak for them when they can't or don't know how to speak. That's all that is. And I'm sorry if your feelings got hurt, Mrs. Hall. Yes, ma'am. Oh, Mayor Pro Tem, get back out. Yes, go forward as well. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate you just like everybody else up here. But we're imperfect people, including you, trying to do a perfect job, and I get that. I do. Well, we'll step back out. Let me go on to the next item. The next item is the creation of task forces and committees. Mrs. Commissioner Sarah Connor, if you would, please.
All right, I hope my mic is still on. First of all, I would like to clarify why I made the motion not to have the public to speak. No disrespect to you. I felt that once we got to this item, you would it would give an opportunity for you, not at this time, you would be able to speak at a later time. The suggestion that I had to form 2 task force committee is to get, number one, the main thing, to get the public involved so that they can help, because a lot of citizens have expertise that we do not have, and if we bring a committee together, they can help the staff as well as the commissioners come up with a solution to 2 of the major problems that we have in the town. So that was my reason for having it. With it being on the agenda today, I was thinking it would be a working session. We would not completely form the committee today. We would come up with ideas of what we want the committee to look like, what their responsibility would be, how we would appoint the committee and things of that nature. With that being said, I briefly had some ideas that what we would do. We would have the name of the committee. We would have 2 different committees. One committee would be focusing on the utility. The other committee would be focusing on drainage. And then the committee would they could meet. They would come up with ideas on where they would meet, how often they would meet, whether it would be virtual, whether it would be in person. And then we'd come up with the purpose of the committee, what their duties are, what we look for them to bring. And we want to be sure that they didn't have anything in conflict with the town code, anything that they brought to us. And as I said, the membership will consist of 1 member from each of the 5 wards, actually 2 members. One would be an alternate and one would be a member, so that we would be sure that we would have enough members each time that the committee convened. Also, 1 person from the ETJ, a town official, a town staff, 1 professional that was familiar with the utility situation, 1 committee, 1 professional that is familiar with the drainage situation. And this could be the committee members. We would kind of look at it and see and critique it as necessary. As I said earlier, the alternate member could come, and also a commissioner. These members will have to be approved by the whole board. You will bring the name to the meeting, and we will vote on the person interested in that position. We have to fill out an application. Now, hoping that we work with the town attorney so that we can get everything the way that it should be. And the meeting dates will be, determined by the committee. And we will ask the committee to make a presentation each month at the, commission meeting so that we'll know the progress and see if the committee will really need it. And then the committee could be dissolved at any time at its discretion of the board. If we found that the committee was not doing what we wanted it to do, we'll just dissolve it, we will add to it, critique it. But as I said earlier, I knew we wouldn't do all these things today. We just brainstorm and let different ones have ideas, and we will email back and forward, do phone calls back and forward until we got it the way that we wanted it, that would really be helpful to the town, and then we could present it to the town. Anybody have any questions?
Very good, Commissioner Connor. Any questions for Commissioner Connor?
I did have some.
Yes.
I think that's a great plan. I know that 6 months ago or more, we talked about forming a drainage commission, the utilities commission. We didn't discuss that before. But I agree with what you said. The only thing is, because you said we're brainstorming, one representative from each ward and ETJ, that would give you 6 people, and then an additional alternate from each ward in ETJ, that would give you 12 people. So I'm just, once we're brainstorming, I would recommend just maybe a couple alternates instead of one alternate from each ward, because if you get your boards too big, I'm not saying it's not good, but it's just more feasible. And then as we discuss this, all you need to do is, if we can bring it back to our board meeting, everybody give it some thought, bring it back to our board meeting on next month. And then that way we can direct the staff to put together the advertising and what we're looking for the applicant, and then basically just like we do with the other boards we have. And then again, you pointed it out that the board would appoint each person based on the applications that we receive. And I think it's a fantastic idea. I guess Commissioner Newell, you have contacts at the county that can also possibly assist us on that committee, that can attend the meetings, and but I think it's a great idea. I really do. And we just need to not be another one of those things that become complacent. We talk about it, we talk about it, we talk about it, we talk about it, we never execute. So I think it's a great idea, and then we need, even if we have to correspond individually, between now and our next meeting, we need to have it on our next meeting agenda to go ahead and move forward on that. This is my opinion.
Great opinion. Would there be anyone else? Any comments? I think we're headed in the right direction on that. Final, you have anything else, Commissioner Connor? You good?
I just want to clarify one thing. The reason I was saying have an alternate from each ward is not attending meetings, so like we're Commissioner Goff and our alternate for the TCC committee.
Correct.
And so she can't come. If she can't attend the meeting, I'm available, so that way we will have a representative at each meeting if their alternate is not available from that ward. So we just want to be sure that all wards were represented at all times. That's what we not say one from each ward, but if you think it's not necessary.
No, I'm just in mind. I mean, this is me talking. I mean, if the board wants to have 5 members and 5 alternates, or 6 and 6, that's absolutely fine.
We just want to be sure that everybody represented.
Yes.
Support. Any other board comments? Commissioner Goff?
Maybe one other suggestion.
Yes, ma'am.
And again, just brainstorming, that we're talking about residents, maybe even have a representative in the business community.
Oh, yeah.
Because they also are involved in these issues. So whether that business person is a resident or not, we should at least consider that part of our town.
And I can email you, I have this in, I had typed this out, I can email this, once I go correct my errors, my typos. I can email this to everybody, what I just read, and then you can add to it.
Very good.
And I'll also email it to the staff and the attorney.
Okay. Any final comments from Commissioner Goff? Overall, we're headed toward closure.
Maybe shortly. The comment mainly is that the purpose of us meeting today, I know it's not convenient for a lot of people who work, with it being in the middle of the week and the time that it is, but it was the thing that was most workable to get everyone together and to make these discussions. Also, I appreciate the participation of the citizens. Since I've been on the board, I've noticed in the last couple or 3 years that citizens are becoming more and more involved in the exchange with the board and giving us direction, but also just getting involved in the community themselves. Whether it's with the Chamber of Commerce or whether it's with Main Street or the other organizations that are here. The citizens drive what Ayden becomes. It's not just the board, it's not just our decisions. You drive it. We work for you. You elected us to represent you, and that's what we try to do. So, I appreciate when people are here, when they make their comments. Even if they're heated comments, we still appreciate that. But we're doing the best that we can. The decisions we make are based on the information that is given to us at the time. Now, if it needs to be corrected, we're willing to correct it and move on with that. But the citizens, the staff, the town hall, the governing board, we all want the same thing. We want Ayden to grow. We want it to grow in a healthy manner. We want it to be where we're not driving out. The citizens have lived here for years because of how we're bringing in new development. We don't want that. We all want the same thing. And that's for Ayden to be the town in which we can be happy that we are citizens and that we are productive. And that's what we're trying to do. So thank you for your time and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Commissioner Goff. Commissioner Davis? You good? Commissioner Nope? Commissioner Nope? You good? Commissioner Connor? You good? Mayor Pro Tem?
I just want everyone to understand that everything that we do up here, it's not personal. It's not, when we talk to this, cause we love, a lot of our staff members don't think we really do, but I tell you, we love our staff because I know that we've got a lot of good people working in the town of Ayden. But, and when the board or I speak, it's not personal. It is not personal. And if you ever feel that if I said something to you that you took personally, please get with me one-on-one. So, and I may have overstepped or I may have said something and that was not my intent. Like I said, my intent is just like the mayor has always put out, is that we're all here helping each other. And we're trying to make the best for the town of Ayden, for everyone. And I never want any employee at any position to ever feel threatened by the citizens of this town. If there are citizens in this town threatening members of this town, employees of this town, you need to step back because that will not be tolerated. It will not, and there's laws against it. You're not going to do that, and that's why we take care of our employees. So if you've got a problem, take it to Jesus, because you do not need to be bringing it to the town hall and abusing the employees, because that won't be tolerated at all. It will not. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. My closing comment again is thanks for coming out. Anything you want to know about the board, how this town really runs, you can go to our website, charter. And my motto is working together works. Yes, we have a tough job up here. Yes, our employees have a tough job. And like Mayor Pro Tem just summed it up, you know. Sometimes you gotta ask the tough questions. We got bosses, believe it or not. We are bosses, but we got bosses. So we have to answer to them. And I think what happened today, I think the citizens have their answers. And I pray that when we have good dialogue, when they come to you guys, and like Mayor Pro Tem said, if you feel threatened, there's a man right there, his team, chief, we'll get things straightened out, but we feel we don't have to go that far. And the more we communicate, openly communicate with our citizens, the better off we're gonna be. God bless you all. My time is up, and I thank you for yours. Now I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Brian Newell, second by Commissioner Sarah O'Connor. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Motion carries.
For the, we got to get all the dues and stuff and everything. Hopefully we'll be able to bring it back at the next meeting. We will be, April, whatever, April. And then hopefully
Jeremy.
it's.